If there was one thing that Help Wanted 2 did that's commendable above all else, it is the added context and connotations it added to animatronic characters across the Five Nights at Freddy's series, that is, the ones who were in it. Having such a focus on sister location, it especially did favors for a good chunk of the fun times. Letting Ballora dance across her gallery and towards the office, giving Funtime Chica a walk cycle and jump scare, giving Ennard the jankiest and absolute best walk cycle, and my life wasn't complete until I saw Funtime Freddy's angry face. But the one character who would be the most under the spotlight would be the arguable main character of Sister Location and a major character throughout plotlines in the main story, and that would be Circus Baby. Fnaf's first villain who wasn't William Afton, our first talking animatronic, and I mean really talking, not just sounds or occasional voice clips, our first animatronic lead who isn't Freddy, arguably our first animatronic lead because unless you count Springtrap, animatronics tended to blur together. The puppet was a major character but was nowhere in the spotlight as much as Baby was. If Freddy was the face of Freddy Fazbear's, Baby was the voice. The first animatronic to tell us how much pain they had gone through and how much anger they had towards those who had put them in their metal suits. She was something special. Circus Baby is one of my favorite Five Nights at Freddy's characters, and also one who I have been rather critical of. That is, critical of the direction that has been taken with her character since that initial game. Before she was nearly retired, but now she has returned. I cannot stress enough how well Help Wanted 2 did for some characters. A longer look at Roxy's behavior actually added context to her turnaround and ruin. Sun became much more three-dimensional than initially implied, and Funtime Freddy's angry face. In a way, I would say that Help Wanted 2's context fixed some characters, largely by adding more context around them out. For example, Yendo, who had basically no presence whatsoever, got a significant showing here, as he has his own place in the Funtime Freddy alternate level. But did this return of Circus Baby and Scrap Baby, did it fix her? Well, to answer that, we first have to establish how Baby was broken. Bear with me if you've seen my other Circus Baby videos, because I'm going to go over some of the stuff I've discussed there. So, who is Circus Baby? Circus Baby is a clown-styled robot created by William Afton with the primary goal of capturing children at parties, swiftly killing them, and smuggling their bodies out. This is shown in her blueprints that reveals that she has a built-in stomach hatch, such as the one Funtime Freddy also has. How this works is she will count children in the room until there's only one left. She will then lure them in with ice cream, and then grab them with a claw inside of her stomach. We actually see this in action in the Circus Baby minigame, and hear the story retold by Circus Baby herself during Sister Location. It is never an accident. William Afton built her and the others with only one goal in mind. Other than that, she has a built-in ice cream maker, well, naturally, air hoses somewhere to blow up balloons, might smell like birthday cake. Baby mentions it, but doesn't clarify if this is a consistent thing or just in that moment. It's never said in the blueprints, but it could be masking any other smells. And finally, is a whopping 7.2 feet tall. This makes her taller than her bandmates and the classic Freddy characters, and likely the Glamrocks. But what about her personality? A Circus Baby does have one, and really was the first animatronic to get one. Circus Baby appears as gentle and quiet on the outside. This is all an act. Or pretend, as she puts it.
There's something very important that I've learned how to do over time. Do you know what that is? How to pretend. Do you ever play make-believe? Pretend to be one way when you are really the other. It's very important. Ballora never learns. But I do.
The real Baby is bitter, manipulative, and selfish. She narrows down weaknesses and uses them to get what she wants, using any tactic to talk someone into her corner. And in the event that she does expose herself, she'll quickly backpedal and come up with an excuse.
There is something bad inside of me. I'm broken. I can't be fixed.
Even when she is found out, she will continue with the ruse, wearing her target down.
I thought I did everything right. We don't want to hurt anyone, but we need you.
You would think this behavior spawned from her primary directive. She was built to deceive children, so she deceives adults too. But that's not exactly the case. Circus Baby is possessed by William Afton's daughter, Elizabeth. After William told her he made Baby for her, a bold-faced lie, but refused to let her approach her, one day at a party, Elizabeth was alone and approached Circus Baby. That was when Circus Baby's programming kicked in, and she lured her in with ice cream, grabbed her, and killed her. After this, Elizabeth's soul began to haunt Baby, just like how the classic animatronics were possessed by the souls of the children whose bodies were shoved inside of them. The greatest evidence of her possession is the fact that, as shown in the minigame, Circus Baby's eyes were blue before the death of Elizabeth, and after her death, they turned green to match Elizabeth's own. That being said, as far as sister location is concerned, Baby refers to Elizabeth always as a separate person. Not just when she's telling the story, but in the final night when she and her band, in the form of Ennard, try to manipulate Michael Afton, who they think is William, with false promises of seeing her again. Don't you want to see her again? Baby even goes so far as to fake Elizabeth's voice.
Everything is okay. I'm still here. You have to let me inside the room. Isn't this why you came here? To be with me again. We need you so that we can leave.
Now, this doesn't mean Circus Baby is not Elizabeth, but as far as sister location is concerned, Baby does not consider herself to be, or refer to herself as Elizabeth.
Isn't this why you came here? To be with her again?
If she did, she would have likely used that in her manipulation. That would be a valuable tool to use, but the only time she tries to use it is when every other option dries up. But this will be important later, so remember this. As for Circus Baby actually being Elizabeth Afton, this is where we get into the true root of her behavior. Like many of the haunted animatronics, Circus Baby's soul went through a traumatic death and was then trapped inside this metal coffin, one that was constantly being tricked out to perform at various venues and killing other kids. And when she didn't work correctly, she was shocked. When she did work correctly, she was also shocked. Sister Location goes out of its way to show you how poorly the animatronics are taken care of. It's no wonder that they want to leave so badly. And in this, there's actually some sympathy for Baby. If we see this as a traumatized child who has been enslaved and tortured, Baby's callous nature and lack of consideration for others makes a lot of sense. It's kind of hard to learn empathy when you're growing up in that sort of environment. Especially since the person who we're living through, person she's manipulating, is someone who Circus Baby thinks is William Afton. Michael Afton says so himself. He directly says that Circus Baby and the others thought that he was his father. So she thinks he is the one behind all of this, and she is more than eager to use Elizabeth as bait and steal his body, and in a way it's sort of justified why she would be so cold and why she would want to do this to him. That's not to say that Circus Baby isn't a cold-hearted manipulator, but it is to say that she too is a victim. She was a victim. She still is. Now, everything I covered about Circus Baby's personality, hang on to that. We're going to go through sister location. Circus Baby was teased up until the release, both in a subtle Easter egg in Fnaf 4 with the girl in pigtails, an Easter egg not noticeable unless you're aware of Circus Baby, and a more direct showing in Fnaf World where an unknown person at a desk confesses that he created something horrible. The lights go out and we hear this line from Baby, her first voice line.
The show will begin momentarily. Everyone, please stay in your seats.
The lights come on to reveal that the desk man has been killed. This desk man it's never clarified who he is, but I'm assuming him to be an insert of Scott himself, because it can't be William. He would never be apologetic for creating something horrible, and it cannot be Henry, because he did not build Circus Baby in the games, and he didn't die in the games. Well, I mean, he didn't die like this in the games. This detail isn't of huge importance, I'm just explaining why I won't be fitting it back into the story later. Personally, I definitely think this is one of those Scott self-insert joke meme sort of things. Circus Baby's first proper reveal is in Sister Location proper, where she and her band are introduced as would-be replacements for the classic Freddy Fazbear's band. The hand unit says as much. But instead of having a restaurant of her own, she is part of Circus Baby's rentals, a company that, as the name would imply, rents out their animatronics. I mean, she used to have a restaurant, but it closed after one day of being open due to an accident. In a teaser, it was revealed to have been covered up as gas leaks, but as revealed in the game, this incident in all likelihood was Elizabeth's death. But back to the Fun Time Band. These animatronics turn out to be very vicious towards us, and the character we play as, Michael Afton. But Baby is not. First speaking up in Night 2, Circus Baby greets us, pondering why we would want to work there, and despite the fact that we were forced to shock her the night before, helps us by offering tips to avoid the Biddy Babs and Bellora's attacks, and leading us to get the power back on.
There is a space under the desk. Someone before you crafted it into a hiding place, and it worked for him. I recommend that you hurry, though. You will be safe there. Just try not to make eye contact. It will be over soon. They will lose interest.
Baby speaks in a hushed voice that's usually kept pretty monotone. Because of this and her assistance, and her being the only animatronic to show any ability to care for us, we become comfortable with the idea that she is the nice one. This is only backed up in Night 3 when Circus Baby provides us with her tragic backstory, but it is framed a little differently. If you go into the circus control and hide underneath the desk, Baby tells you about her singular day at her restaurant, where Elizabeth Afton approaches her and she lost control of myself and grabbed her, killing her inside.
Why did that happen?
Baby feigns ignorance. She pretends that she didn't know what happened, even though she's likely done it plenty of times since then. She tells us the story, even though it would seem like the story would make us more wary of Baby. She tells it to us for two reasons. One, so she seems more honest, and we feel bad that she was forced to do this. And two, so if we did somehow find out about her past, she has given it out to look like she was the victim, she wasn't in control. So we can't suddenly have a revelation, oh, Baby's been killing people. Baby was forthright for the information, so she really did regret it. The tactic here is to be so honest with a horrible event that doesn't make her look good, that the target actually feels more comfortable because they think, oh, this is really bad, but she was truthful to me. Apply for honesty, which comes back later. And then, well, Night 4 happens. For some odd reason, Circus Baby decides to drop the act on Night 4, and yet picks it right back up on Night 5. Michael Afton is trapped in a spring-lock suit in the scooping room, and Baby, who has been kind and soft-spoken until now, starts laying out these unsubtle threats in sharp-edged words, suddenly much more vindictive and even willing to risk her entire plan just to torment Michael, despite the fact that this could have easily driven him off.
Do you know why they call it the scooping room? It's because, dummy, this is the room where they use the scooper. I thought that would be obvious. They think there is something wrong on the inside. The only thing that matters is knowing how to pretend.
It could be that Circus Baby is always holding herself back, and having him at her mercy allowed her to slip up. That is always possible, but still, it's a sharp contrast to not only Baby's behavior before and after this, but to her goals. And to the story itself, as, like I said, by the next night, Baby is back to pretending. Even in the private room where she is desperate, she never returns to that threatening nature because she is a very good actress. Or was. A little preview for later on in the video, but Night 4 is a strange moment because it not only blows Circus Baby's cover, which almost seems to be out of character, but later on this overdramatic nature, these sharp little threats hidden behind Baby talk, will become sort of the focus of her character in later games, where Baby drops the pretense of pretending altogether. But back to Sister Location and that final night. The canon route involves Baby tricking you into the scooper room. She even uses the threat of Bellora to guide you there, pretending that Bellora's in the room and that she's trying to talk her down, when in reality she and Bellora and the rest of their band are tangled up inside of Ennard. Ennard is an amalgamation made from Circus Baby and her band. It finally appears when you are lured into the scooping room, revealing this whole plan was to size you up and gut you open, to wear you like a suit, and walk out of here to freedom. Notably, in that cutscene in the scooping room, and if I recall right, only here, Ennard frames themselves as being the only one, referring to Circus Baby and Ballora as not being them.
Funtime Foxy has already been here today. Funtime Freddy has already been here today. Ballora has already been here today. Circus Baby has already been here today. I've been out before, but they always put me back. They always put us back inside. There's nowhere for us to hide here. There is nowhere to go when we look like this.
This would suggest that all of the band are just Ennard, a little of me in every body, and more importantly, Baby's mechanism for controlling the others. Notably, Ennard has blue eyes like the original Baby's, and the mask's origin is a mystery. Could it be that the original Circus Baby was broken down and turned into the entire band? This implies that there is no Circus Baby. There's just Ennard. Well, until the source code hints for Pizzeria Simulator, where it's revealed that Circus Baby got booted out of the band. So either Ennard was retconned, Baby was lying, or Ennard is walking improv featuring the entire Funtime band. Anyway, the main point is that Baby has tricked you. No shock considering Night 4. I mean, it would have been a shock without Night 4, but she's lucky that Michael's pretty dense. To put it in perspective how well Baby has planned this out, Ennard is standing behind the Circus Baby body and speaking through it to lure Michael into doing what they want. She had all of her bases covered. She has been playing you the whole time. If you catch wise and go for the alternate ending, Ennard will chase you into the private room and you have to keep him at bay, during which Circus Baby continues to try and talk you down.
Why didn't you trust me? Why didn't you believe me? I thought you liked me.
Trying to guilt trip you, trying to ply you with mentions of Elizabeth, and even mimicking her voice to get you to open the door. It doesn't succeed and Michael gets home, only to find that Ennard snuck in with him. It's weird to note, but even though Circus Baby is the main villain, there is never a direct encounter with just her. Not even in Sister Location's Custom Night, where everyone returns except for her. And Ennard, but he's got the private room section, which basically covers it. The only reason it's so peculiar is because she didn't even show up for the Custom Night. Other than seeing her empty shell in Night 5, we don't even see her in person, as even the circus gallery is darkened. I suppose we see her in the intro, but you can see how peculiar that is. Well, that was the end of Sister Location. In the Custom Night cutscenes, we are shown that Ennard splits from Michael's still-aware corpse and dips into the sewer. So it was understood that likely they and Circus Baby would return. And in fact, both did in the next game. But something happened. The scarce info we have comes from source code hints, which means they were briefly hidden in the Scott Games website itself and in the other website, and are only findable now on the wiki. The short of it is that Circus Baby and her band split up, with her rebuilding herself into a stronger form, while the others didn't. So, Circus Baby was brought back as Scrap Baby, and the rest of her band, the remains of Ennard, returned as Molten Freddy in Pizzeria Simulator, a game initially guised as a spin-off before revealing itself to be a real entry into the story. Pizzeria Simulator involves the main character, likely Michael Afton, running a pizzeria. Or in actuality, a giant metal oven for baking bots that's disguised as a pizzeria to bring in the remains of Freddy's past. Scrap Baby is one of those threats you bring in from the alley, interview, and then shove into the endless vents to crawl around searching until her eventual demise. But something else happened off-screen. Circus Baby went through an entire change of character. She no longer relies on pretending. She's just another mindless robot until her monologue at the end of the game. And oh, that monologue. This is only going to be part of it.
This was a gift for us. You gathered them all together in one place, just like he asked you to. All of those little souls in one place, just for us. A gift. Now we can do what we were created to do, and be complete. I will make you proud, Daddy.
Then she burns in the fire. So in short, Circus Baby now believes herself to be Elizabeth, or at least believes that she's William's daughter. She loves and serves her daddy, And even though she wanted to disembowel Daddy less than a game ago for her own escape, she's now willing to trap herself because she wants to kill children, because she wants Daddy to notice. Who is this person? This is not Circus Baby, Scrap Baby her forgotten twin, because this is not the character we knew from the last game. She's completely turned around into someone else, and that is something worse. From villain to henchman, from clever manipulator to big old dummy. On the surface, this monologue sounds like Circus Baby, but when you listen to it and you listen to what she's saying, you see the sheer difference in both identity, control, and desire. This isn't a pretender, this is a servant. And this is a shame, especially considering Circus Baby's visual upgrade. Unlike the oversized childish toddler, Scrap Baby is intimidating. She's a matted mess of parts barely wired together, along with a large claw mounted on her arm. Never confirmed, but likely the one that sat in her belly. She should be more confident now that she's a stronger force, but instead she takes a step back for the real villain, William, who ironically looks at his weakest in this game. Why does Circus Baby even have a monologue at all? It's interrupted by Henry, so shouldn't it be William's? The actual villain? What is this? Well, the short answer is that Baby was changed to serve the plot, but what plot is that? People have attributed this change to Baby becoming Ennard and splitting, but that is not the case. Twofold. When Circus Baby was in Ennard, they believed they were all one, which was sort of changed in the source code hints, and in the source code hints, Baby is still talking like Baby. The more important part is, Baby had formed into Ennard multiple times, so for her to suddenly decide that she's Elizabeth after forming into him, it doesn't really click. The assumption would be that this happened sometime between the separation and Pizzeria simulator. Maybe she met up with William, but there's no implications that she did. I mean, they didn't even come in on the same night. But maybe somewhere along the line something happened that changed things. But the actual root of the change comes from the Fnaf novel trilogy. And I know what you're gonna say. Naughty name, are you really whining about the fourth closet again? Well, no, I'm not. Today I'm just covering it because it applies to the video, but no tangents, no side salt, none of that. I'm just explaining what changed and why it's a problem. Maybe a little salt, but just in my delivery. I have a video fully dedicated to how awful the book trilogy handled Baby, called The Fnaf Novels Did Circus Baby Dirty. But in this case, I'm looking less at how bad she is, and instead the major shift of character and placement. But if you are looking for specifics, I definitely recommend watching that one because I did come to a conclusion that I will touch on here, but elaborate there, once you get past all the salt. The Silver Eyes trilogy is about Charlie, the daughter of Henry, William's former business partner, as she uncovers the mysteries at Freddy's and of her past. Circus Baby is introduced in Book 3, but her purpose, character type, and backstory have all been altered. She is now Charlie's adult doppelganger who is working under William Afton to replace Charlie while he does his other devious plans. Circus Baby is now primarily Charlie herself, being her older body who was built and abandoned by Henry but taken and altered by William, and then hid by Henry, and then found by William, and then too confusing. Just throw that one away. She also has Elizabeth's backstory too, as Circus Baby still killed Elizabeth, though now the sizing is really in question, especially when it comes to how she eventually is killed, since apparently she has a stomach hatch, but a knife through the belly really takes it out of her. But let's clear this up. She is primarily adult Charlie, Charlie's fourth body. Her primary drive and backstory surrounds that way more than the Elizabeth one. The biggest change here is Circus Baby's goals and thought process. Ancestral location, Baby is portrayed as bitter and resentful, which holds up here, but in this case, instead of trying to use the person who hurt her to get out, whether William or another technician at the factory that contains her, Baby is full on board with being William's lackey, a lot like her sudden "I will make you proud daddy" shift in Pizzeria Simulator. And there's a lot of other stuff too. Her making moves at Charlie's boyfriend, her constant flip-flopping of being maniacally evil to suddenly being a sad dove, and instead of being a manipulator, she disguises herself as Charlie, does not act or dress like Charlie, makes blatant references to her dislike of Charlie, and storms through apartments and houses like Toy Freddy looking for the birthday child. Tactless. And since I can't put it anywhere else, have you ever wondered why Night 4 was the way it was? Well, I don't have any evidence for this, but if we're gonna say that Circus Baby was inspired by the books, then maybe that scene with Michael being shoved in the springlock suit is a direct reference to in The Silver Eyes when William Afton shoves Carlton into a suit and then monologues at him about it. It would actually make a lot of sense to why Circus Baby has this sudden aside and then returns to pretending. It's just to bring in this section of the book. The reason for all this change and the book connection is twofold. One, for some reason Fnaf likes giving William Harley Quinn lackeys. And two, Fnaf likes alluding to this sort of rivalry between Henry and William's daughters, the good Charlie and the bad Baby, when it kinda never really shows up. Even in the fourth closet, it's more Charlie versus Charlie than Charlie versus Baby. And yes, due to the timeline of releases, Pizzeria Simulator fell directly between the Twisted Ones, where Book Baby was revealed, and the fourth closet's release. So, while the fourth closet was being written, it was this book that spawned the dramatic changes to Baby's character. It's too coincidental. But regardless, you can see where this tanks the main draw of Baby. Her sinister and manipulative nature juxtaposed by her painful past and lifetime of forced servitude, her acting sweet but it just being a defense mechanism to pull one over on you, leading you right into her hands, all of that was flushed away by making her into a servant of Afton with a baby girl complex. No, do not look that up. The long and short is that Circus Baby was changed into a completely different character to serve the plot. And that is the problem here. I have gone into lengths complaining about the fourth closet's Baby and Pizzeria Simulator's depiction of Baby, and it all boils down to that one point. She is not the same character she was in Sister Location. The interesting nature of her pretending, her ability to puppeteer everyone else, her looking out for herself first and foremost, not her father, not her band, just herself because she was hurt before, it made for Fnaf's first complex character. This change really sold Baby short. And notably, like she was the first of many other kinds, she was the first compelling villain who was then shafted by some variation or degradation of William Afton. But this pretty much broke Baby. I mean, even if this was the moment she died, this still broke Baby. After this point, Baby did appear a few times, but her voice lines, when not repeated from Sister Location, did lean further into the sort of direct, threatening, sinister nature of the Night 4 Scrap Baby sort of deal.
Want to see the scooping room? Looks like something bad happened. Let's see how many pieces I can cut you into. You won't die, but you'll wish you could.
Now, Help Wanted 1 had a relatively good showing from Circus Baby, but there's not much character context to it. She stalks you from the Fnaf 4 bedroom, and you have to hide in a closet. The biggest draw here is Baby's toddling walk cycle. She waddles around the room and chases you if she sees you, which, considering the fact that you couldn't see her at all in her game, relatively, this is a big plus. It's not a life-changing experience, but hey, it's something. Circus Baby was also one of the first animatronics released in FNAF AR. Her playstyle is pretty much the basic playstyle. Follow, look away when haywire, shock while charging. She's just faster and harder to pin down. She even got new skins. Broiler Baby and Heartsick Baby. Note that Broiler Baby also returned as an enemy in Fury's Rage later on. Her lines again are a sort of mix of ones we're familiar with and new ones. Nothing mind-breaking here. In this case, Baby is more overtly threatening, but in this case, almost all of the animatronics with lines are more threatening. With the exception being Toy Freddy, who goes from concerned to playful to spiteful, but not directly aggressive. Threatening you with patented jingles, more like.
I wonder what will happen when I try to scoop you out of your carton. I am so glad I found you. Let me find room for you inside.
Baby does not appear in Security Breach, but there are staff bots in the Bonnie Bull's ice cream parlor that resemble her. Yeah, the ice cream thing. Scrap Baby is on a cabinet, and Baby's remains are hidden on the blob, but you can only see them if you no-clip to see them. Like with the puppet and everything else on the blob, it is impossible to determine if she's in there or what, but it is notable that her eyes are blacked out, so that might mean something. And this was the end of Circus Baby until Help Wanted 2, but before I tackle that, there is something else I want to briefly brush over. I should have stuck this up with the fourth closet section, but I wanted to get past that. This is where I will be discussing yet again the sexualization of Circus Baby, because for some reason the Toddler Clown became the femme fatale of FNAF for a hot second. This mostly involves the fourth closet, where Baby dresses in skimpy tight clothes and tries to seduce Charlie's boyfriend. The thing that gets me is that by wearing the skimpy dresses, Baby pretty much blows her cover immediately. Here is the first picture ever drawn of human baby. Yeah, great picture. But the sexualization kinda continues. I wouldn't say Ennard is sexy, but she's, well, the design certainly was a choice. Oh, by the way, Ennard, I won't discuss her here, but delve into her semi-connections to baby at another time. But the long and short of it is that we don't know what she is, but she is not our baby. She is supposedly some sort of agony demon, so while she looks like baby, she is her own sort of hot mess. I've gone on record before and I'll say it again, a character being sexy isn't the problem. My example last time was Midna, and I'll double down. Midna's pretty hot. The problem is when you take Circus Baby's complex personality and feigning innocence, her almost childish voice and toddler design, and decide that the way we're taking this character is making her into this. And there's the real big issue here. By all accounts, Circus Baby is styled to be very babyish. So to choose her out of everyone for this role, it wasn't a good look. It's especially confusing since, because I've gone over before, Book Baby is more Charlie than Baby. She didn't have to be Circus Baby at all. It makes it even more confusing that she is. But again, Sexy Baby isn't the problem. She's a problem, but not the problem. The problem is a lack of understanding for a character that was very well laid out. I mean, ask yourself this. Do you think Circus Baby from Sister Location would try to seduce people? Her whole MO is to act meek, soft, childish, and needy. To be blunt, Sexy Baby is way too aggressive considering the fact that she doesn't have an upper hand. Circus Baby can be aggressive, but she isn't when she's pretending, and Sexy Baby doesn't pretend. She just acts out. And that was where we left Circus Baby. Oh, until Help Wanted too. Yeah, we finally got back here, and it's time to discuss what she got. Let's cover the lesser of the two appearances first. Scrap Baby returns during a first aid repair of Helpy level, where you perform first aid on Helpy in the back of what is likely the Pizzeria simulator location, considering that all the animatronics you encounter there are all from there. If you're not quick and careful with sedation, Scrap Baby will hear his screams and start coming in. She can crawl down a vent or slide in through the back curtain, and if you don't check her in time and drive her away, she will swipe you with her giant claw. Now at first this doesn't seem like very much at all until you realize that Scrap Baby pretty much didn't have any animations in Pizzeria Simulator. With only the jump scare and a few assorted still images, the interview room is mostly one, the alleyway blip, there's not much of Scrap Baby in the game she's introduced in, and Ultimate Custom Night only adds a still image, well, 2 still images, and another jump scare. This is where we can actually see her moving around and functioning. We can see her height, we can see her full model, which is well done in this game. It's a deceptively small role that fills in a good chunk of missing content for such a great design. But the bigger role here is Circus Baby herself. Teased before her arrival, such as hiding behind you in the main menu, she takes her sweet time before showing up. And when she does, it's the de facto final boss of the game. Not counting the Princess Quest section, but that's more of a final level than a singular boss. No, it's time to face the real boss. It's time for your job interview. The job interview level involves you, Circus Baby, and the plush babies in the private office. The lights have gone out and Circus Baby suggests that you play a game.
Uh-oh. It's so dark. When the lights go out, we pass the time by playing make-believe. Let's play office. I will be the boss, and you will be the worker. For your first task, you need to play...
She will then choose one of 3 games, though you will have to play all 3 in the level. These games are hide and seek, flashlight tag, and red light, green light. And if you fail, she will jump scare you. Now this is where the plush babies come in, as they are the ones who actually play with you. It's not clear if they are directly controlled by Circus Baby, but likely they are. In each game, they will approach at a different angle. In hide and seek, you will have to locate the plush babies on the camera and shock them, as encouraged by Circus Baby herself. In flashlight tag, the plush babies pop up and you have to shine your light on them to drive them away, all while they're shaking like little rattlesnakes. Just as friendly, too. In red light, green light, you have to look back and forth between the doors and the vent and try to keep all 3 plush babies at bay, as they will only creep up when not being watched. While you play the game, Circus Baby comments on your successes or failures.
Good job. You are a very hard worker. Looks like you are underperforming. This will go in your permanent record.
But her tone is even and she never directly threatens you, and always goes along with the game. Baby's voice is gentle again, but menacing. Edging on sinister at times, but never quite reaching that point. At other times, such as when congratulating you, her voice lightens up considerably. There also is this line, "What makes you so special?"
What makes you so special?
This line will come up at another time, because no matter how you look at it, it's a loaded line. Unless I'm wrong, it's sourced from the fourth closet, and is also tossed out by Moon and Miss Hippo. We'll discuss this at another point. Once the night is over, Circus Baby will come stomping up, and good grief, she's huge! They got the size right.
Look at the time. Time flies when you're having so much fun. Workday is over. You have earned this.
Then she splits open her chest, and out of the darkness comes a hand holding an ice cream cone. This is in fact a Biddy Bab arm. I think it's just a reuse. I don't think there's like an actual Biddy Bab chilling out in there. Don't take the ice cream and she will encourage you.
Ice cream. Go on. Take it.
Continue refusing and she'll jump scare you. But if you do take the ice cream and eat it, Baby won't do anything. She won't kill you.
Time to clock out.
It's so strange. Something has changed. This is a new Circus Baby. And this new Circus Baby is perfect. Well, as close as you can get, but she is perfect. She keeps to pretending. She makes childish references to cover up possible threats. She bosses you around, but hides it under the guise of a game. And when you do what she wants, she rewards you. Why? Maybe she appreciates you playing along. Maybe she just likes toying with you. It's unclear, and you know what? After everything Baby's been through, this level of ambiguity, I can get behind that. Because I was gearing up for her to grab us in like one of those trick endings, but she doesn't. She just watches us eat the ice cream. This is why I love this. It's because I legit can't tell if she's rewarding us to string us along, if she's genuinely rewarding us for playing the game, or if she's planning to attack the moment the screen goes dark. Because it's not super vague. See, we know Baby enough to know that it could be one of these options, and now we have to wonder which it is. Is this a better Baby? Is this even our Baby? Maybe she truly is just a replication and there's nothing of the original Baby left. This question of if she's the same Baby or not is especially punctuated by this line.
I like it here. It's safe. Safe forever.
It is a strange one. Is this the soul of Baby trapped in the simulation but content and comfortable with her amount of control? Or is this merely a simulation of Baby and that line is telling us that it's not her because it's content when the real Baby wanted to be free? It's an unknown, but I can tell you this, if this is not our Baby, she's doing one heck of a job replicating Sister Location Baby, or the feel of it. And I don't know, the fact that I don't know what's going on here feels like a continuation to the character instead of a retread. But I may be looking too into that. But that was Help Wanted 2 and the return of Baby. And what a baby. But what else is there? Now this was where I was initially going to discuss the connections between Circus Baby, Eleanor, Mimic, and Moon, and Vanessa and Vanny, and the accursed "What Makes You So Special" line, which I believe comes from the fourth closet, but didn't source it, but is sprinkled throughout Help Wanted 2. But I have decided to hold off on that because that's a little off topic for this video. It concerns Baby, yes, but this isn't a video about all of them. This is about Circus Baby herself, and there's a reason for that. Because Help Wanted 2 didn't fix Baby, but it did build a better one. It made an authentic sister location Baby. It even added some more neat details. It doesn't change everything else, but for a moment she's back again. In this brief moment, Baby was saved. But the only way that Baby was saved was because the plot elements that bogged her down have already been moved on to other characters, such as Vanessa. So she can go back to being Circus Baby. She doesn't have to be the lackey, the femme fatale, the daddy's girl. She's back in control. She's back to pretending. And she's going to do a good enough job that even I don't know what she's planning. That's great. I can respect this amount of Baby. So will we see her again? I don't know. So I think, really, that Circus Baby will be referenced in the coming games. I think there's nudges and leads that are leading somewhere, but I don't know where. But part of me thinks Baby will be involved, but in name only. I don't think old Baby's coming out of retirement, and I'm not expecting a new version of Circus Baby as to not get my hopes up. But maybe I should. Just, a year ago I was lamenting the major downgrade of Baby, and here we are with a representation of her that I think did her original character justice. She's even kinda cute now. So, who knows? I'm happy with what I got. I'm not crossing my fingers, but it could happen. So, if this is Baby's last hurrah, it's not really a bad note to go off on, is it? Thank you for watching.